Very good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Masuma Said, and I will be continuing with the topic, the popliteal fossa. The popliteal fossa is a diamond-shaped depression that is seen on the posterior aspect. Sorry, it is a diamond-shaped depression that is seen on the posterior aspect of the knee joint. It corresponds to the cubital fossa that is seen at the elbow joint. This fossa becomes more prominent when the knee is flexed. There is a clinical importance of this popliteal fossa that it gives passage to the main vessels of the thigh. Talking about the boundaries of the popliteal fossa, as we have discussed in the cubital fossa in the upper limb, we'll have the lateral boundaries, the medial boundaries, then there will be something that will form the floor and the roof of the popliteal fossa. So coming to this diagram, you can see here that this side is the medial side and this is the lateral side. So as this is the diamond-shaped depression, so it will have a superior medial boundary, a superior lateral boundary, an infero-medial and an infero-lateral boundary. The superior medial boundary is formed by two muscles that are the semimembranosus and the semitendinosus muscle, which we have already discussed in the previous class. The superior lateral border is formed by the biceps femoris muscle, this one. The inferomedial in the inferolateral border, the inferomedial border is formed by the medial head of the gastrocnemius, and the lateral border, inferolaterally, it is bounded by the lateral head of the gastrocnemius. So this hollow you see is the popliteal fossa. Again, the boundaries are superior-medially by the semimembranosus and the semitendinosus, superior-laterally by the biceps femoris, inferomedially by the medial head of the gastrocnemius, and inferolaterally by the lateral head of the gastrocnemius. So this is another diagram that shows the same things here, but the medial side is on this side, and the lateral side is this one. Talking about the floor of the popliteal fossa or the interior wall of the popliteal fossa, the interior wall is formed from above downwards by the popliteal surface of the femur. And then you can see here, this is the knee joint. So you'll see the capsule of the knee joint. And we have a ligament here, that is the oblique popliteal ligament, which I've already discussed in the previous class, that the semimembranosus insertion gives a projection upwards that forms the oblique popliteal ligament. Then we'll have the popliteal fascia that covers a very important muscle here, that is the popliteus muscle. So this is what forms the interior wall or the floor of the fossa. So again, the floor of the fossa is formed from above downwards by the popliteal surface of the femur, which I'll be taking in the next class. Then the capsule of the knee joint, the oblique popliteal ligament, and lower down it is formed by the fascia that covers this muscle, that is the popliteus muscle, that is covered by the popliteal fascia. This is another diagram that shows the interior wall of the fascia, of the fossa, and this is a lateral aspect of the same thing. You can see the capsule of the knee joint, you can see the oblique popliteal ligament, you can see the fascia that covers the popliteus muscle. Then the roof of the fossa or the posterior wall of the fossa. The roof of the fossa is formed by, we can see here, there is skin, there is fascia. The fascia that covers the popliteal fossa is known as the popliteal fascia. The popliteal fascia is pierced by important structures here, which you can see in the diagram. These are the short saphenous vein, and three nerves pierce the fascia. We have the posterior division of the medial cutaneous nerve of the thigh. We have the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh, and we have a sural communicating nerve. So these were the boundaries, the floor, and the roof of the fascia. To revise it again, we will see that the fascia is bounded superior medially. You can see here, superior medially by the semimembranosus and the semitendinosus, then superior laterally by this muscle, that is the biceps femoris, inferomedially by the medial head of the gastrocnemius, and inferolaterally by the lateral head of the gastrocnemius. When you look at the floor of the fascia of the fossa, it is formed from above downwards by the popliteal surface of the femur, the capsule of the knee joint, the oblique popliteal ligament, the fascia covering the popliteus muscle that is known as the popliteal fascia. Then coming to the roof of the fascia of the fossa, it is formed by the skin and the fascia that is known as the popliteal fascia. The popliteal fascia is pierced by the short saphenous nerve, short saphenous vein, the pseudo communicating nerve, the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh, and the posterior division of the medial cutaneous nerve of the thigh. Then coming to the contents of this fossa, as I have already said that this fossa is very important clinically as it gives passage to the main vessels and nerves from the thigh to the leg. Okay, so what are the contents you see here? The contents are easy. We see a popliteal artery, its branches. We see popliteal vein, its tributaries. We see an important branch of the an important division of the sciatic nerve, that is the tibial nerve and its branches. We see the common peroneal nerve and its branches. Then we have fat there, and we have some lymph nodes there. So these are the 6 main components that you see in the popliteal fossa. In addition to that, some books write that the contents that pierce the popliteal fascia are also considered as the contents of the popliteal fossa. Okay, now a very important thing here that has to be noted is the relationship of the 3 main important structures in the popliteal fossa. And what are these 3 main important structures? These are the popliteal artery, the popliteal vein, and the tibial nerve. As we can see here, because this is semimembranosus and semitendinosus, so this is the medial side and this is the lateral side. Okay, now the popliteal, as you can see here, the popliteal artery is crossed superficially by the popliteal vein. Okay, and now this vein crosses it from the how is it crossing it? This is the artery, right? So this is going down, this is the medial side, this is the lateral side. So the popliteal artery is crossed superficially by the popliteal vein from the lateral to the medial side. This is lateral and then it goes medially. Okay, and then in turn this popliteal vein is crossed superficially by the tibial nerve from the lateral to the medial side, as you can see here. So क्या होता है, popliteal artery पहले रन कर रही है, popliteal artery के ऊपर popliteal vein क्रॉस करेगी, जो lateral side में पहले होगी, फिर नीचे medial side जाएगी, और tibial nerve जो पहले lateral side पे थी, नीचे जाके क्रॉस करके medially हो जाएगी. तो इसकी वजह से क्या हो जाता है, we see different relations at 3 different points. ठीक है? So as you can see here in the upper part of the fossa, here, if we see in the upper part of the fossa, from the lateral to medial side, the relationship will be, we will have the nerve, then we'll have the vein, and then we'll have the artery. Okay, so this is NVA. Okay, and then in the middle part of the fossa, from superficial to deep, we'll have the nerve, the vein, then the artery, and lower down, the lateral to medial side, we'll have the artery, the vein, and the nerve. Okay, so this is what you see. So in the upper part of the fossa, from the lateral to medial side, we have AVN, or you can remember from the lateral to the medial side, we have NVA, NVA. In the middle part, from superior to deep, we have NVA, and in the lower part, we have from lateral to medial side, we have A, B, and N. Now, this is a dissected specimen taken from a book. As you can see here, this is just to show you the different boundaries and the different contents. So in this diagram, you can see this muscle. This is the semimembranosus. This 12 one is the semitendinosus. Here you can see the biceps femoris. Lower down, this is the gastrocnemius, the medial head, and this is the gastrocnemius, that is the lateral head. And these are the different structures which you see that form the content of the fossa. Okay, then coming to the important artery you see here, that is, we will be discussing the different contents of the fossa in detail. So coming to the popliteal artery, as we have already seen in the lower limb, we saw the femoral artery. Then we saw that the femoral artery ends up as what? It ends up as the popliteal artery. when it crosses the adductor hiatus, that is the opening in the in the adductor magnus muscle. So the popliteal artery is a continuation of the femoral artery. Where does it begin? It begins at the adductor hiatus. Then it crosses the floor of the popliteal fossa. As you've already seen, it crosses it from the medial to the lateral side. And at the lower border of the popliteus muscle, this is the popliteus muscle, it divides into anterior tibial and a posterior tibial artery. So this one is the anterior tibial artery that will go anteriorly, and this is the posterior tibial artery. Okay, so this is the popliteal artery, which is an important artery for when we when we look for the peripheral pulses. This is an important artery in which we see the peripheral pulse. Okay, so coming to the branches of the popliteal artery, the branches of the popliteal artery, we divide it into cutaneous branches. We have some muscular branches, we have some genicular branches, and we have some genicular branches. So as you know, the cutaneous branches, we क्या करेंगे, ये skin को supply करेंगे. So they will pierce the floor roof and supply the overlying skin. We have some muscular branches. The muscular branches, they are large and they are several in number. Upper branches supply the adductor magnus and the hamstring muscles, one or two of them anastomosed with a fourth perforator, and the lower branches supply the triceps surae muscle. What is the triceps surae muscle? The gastrocnemius and the soleus together form the triceps surae. Why? Because we have two heads of gastrocnemius and one head of soleus, and they form a triceps. Okay. Now, coming to the genicular branches. What do you mean by genicular branches? Genicular branches, these are those branches which supply the knee joint. Okay, so the genicular branches are 5 in number. As we can see in this diagram, this is a very easy diagram. People can make this diagram in exam. What do we see here? We see that we have, this is the medial side, this is the lateral side. So we have a superior medial genicular, or we can see, a medial genicular artery. We have a lateral genicular artery. We have a inferior medial genicular artery and an inferior lateral genicular artery. The superior medial and the superior lateral genicular arteries, you can see here, they wind around the corresponding condyles of the femur, and they take part in anastomosis around the knee joint. That is also known as the genicular anastomosis. Lower down, you can see the infero-medial and the infero-lateral genicular. These two, what do? They wind around the corresponding condyles of the tibia, but they lie deep to these ligaments. Corresponding tibial condyles की रखी जाती है, and tibial कौन से ligaments हैं? ये tibial collateral ligaments हैं. So they lie deep to the tibial collateral ligaments. These also take part in genicular anastomosis. Then we have this branch. This is the middle genicular artery. This middle genicular artery pierces the oblique popliteal ligament of the knee joint, which we have seen in the floor of the popliteal fossa, and it supplies the cruciate ligament and synovial membrane of the knee joint. Okay, so to revise it again, we saw that सबसे पहले we should know कि artery continuation किसकी है, artery end कहाँ होती है और artery end कैसे होती है. ठीक है, so popliteal artery continuation femoral artery की है. Okay, कहाँ से हो रही है? Femoral artery, when it crosses the adductor hiatus, its name changes and becomes the popliteal artery. Then it crosses the floor of the popliteal fossa, and then at the lower border of the popliteus muscle, it divides into anterior and posterior tibial arteries. Then we saw that if you have to write about the relationship of this artery, you can write that all the structures that form the floor of the popliteal fossa are its interior contents, are its interior borders, and the structures that form the posterior wall forms its posterior boundaries. Then coming to the branches, we have discussed it that these are the cutaneous branches. We have some muscular branches and we have some genicular branches. The cutaneous branches, they will supply the skin. The muscular branches, they mainly supply the hamstring muscles, and नीचे जाके they will supply lower branches जो होंगी, they will supply हमारे triceps surae muscle को. Then we have the genicular branches. The genicular branches are those branches, 5 हैं, ये सप्लाई करती है हमारे नी जॉइंट को. दो पार्ट्स में डिवाइडेड होती हैं, सुपीरियर और इंफीरियर। सुपीरियर में सुपीरियर मीडियल, सुपीरियर लेटरल, इंफीरियर में इंफीरियर मीडियल और इंफीरियर लेटरल जेनिकुलर और एक मिडिल जेनिकुलर। जो सुपीरियर मीडियल जेनिकुलर होगी अपने कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग कॉन्डाइल ऑफ फीमर के इर्द गिर्द जाएगी, लेटरल वैसे ही जाएगी। मिडियल इंफीरियर जेनिकुलर विल वाइंड अराउंड द tibial condyle and these lie deep to these collateral ligaments. Whereas the middle genicular, it will pierce the oblique popliteal ligament and it will supply the cruciate ligament and the synovial membrane of the knee joint. Okay, so coming to this, you can see here, they have removed the different boundaries of the popliteal fossa. The semimembranosus, semitendinosus को काटा गया है. यहाँ पे we can see this is the popliteal artery. Okay, we can see the superior medial genicular, we can see the superior lateral genicular, we can see the inferolateral genicular, we can see the inferomedial genicular. Okay, now coming to a very important topic, that is the anastomosis around the knee joint. Now, the anastomosis around the knee joint is very important because it maintains an adequate blood supply to the knee joint and leg when during flexion of the knee joint. When the popliteal artery is compressed and the blood flow becomes sluggish, so main supply in knee joint is not of the leg is not blocked because of flexion at the knee joint. This genicular anastomosis is formed at the knee joint by the branches of the popliteal, the anterior and posterior tibial, the femoral, and the profunda femoris artery. What are the different branches that take part in the anastomosis around the knee joint? We'll be looking at it. Now, if we see here, the superior medial genicular artery, this one, that is a branch of the popliteal artery. It has ये dotted है. Why? Because it lies posteriorly. Okay, so the superior medial genicular artery, a branch of this one, the superior medial genicular artery, it anastomoses with the inferior medial genicular artery, and it also anastomoses with the descending genicular branch of the femoral artery. So this is the descending genicular branch. This is the superior medial genicular artery. So you can see here the superior medial genicular दो branches दे दी है, एक नीचे की तरफ inferior medial genicular के साथ और एक descending genicular branch of the femoral artery के साथ anastomose करती है. Okay, then talking about the inferior medial genicular artery, this one, inferior medial genicular artery anastomose करेगी एक superior medial genicular artery के साथ, this one, and saphenous branch of the descending genicular artery के साथ. So this finishes your medial side. So दोबारा on the medial side, what do you see here? We see that the superior medial genicular artery, which is a branch of the popliteal artery, anastomoses with the inferior medial genicular branch and the descending genicular branch of the femoral artery. Then the inferior medial genicular branch anastomoses with the saphenous branch, that is a branch of the descending genicular artery, and the superior medial genicular artery. Coming on the lateral side, the superior lateral genicular artery anastomoses with the descending branch of the lateral circumflex femoral artery, and the inferior lateral genicular branch anastomoses with the superior lateral genicular artery and the anterior and posterior recurrent divisions of the anterior tibial artery and the circumflex fibular branch of the posterior tibial artery. So this anterior and posterior recurrent branch of the anterior tibial artery and posterior tibial artery की circumflex fibular branch, which you can see here. Okay, this branch. Okay, now another content which we discussed here, which was the popliteal vein. Now the popliteal vein is formed by the union of the veins accompanying the anterior and the posterior tibial arteries. It is formed at the lower border of the popliteus muscle. It enters the popliteal fossa at the inferior angle and leaves at the superior angle. to continue as the femoral vein at the adductor hiatus. What are the tributaries? We have small saphenous vein, and we have the veins that correspond to the branches of the popliteal artery, the different branches of the popliteal artery. So you can see here, this is the popliteal vein, which continues as the femoral vein. Then the other content we see here is the popliteal lymph nodes. The popliteal lymph nodes are mainly seen around the termination of the short, small saphenous vein. These receive afferents from the lateral part of the sole, the back of the leg, and the knee joint. Efferents end in deep inguinal lymph nodes, and the popliteal lymph nodes get enlarged in infection on the lateral side of the sole or the foot. What is the clinical importance or the applied importance of this popliteal fossa? So as I've already said, the popliteal pulse. The popliteal pulse, to feel the popliteal pulse, first we have to flex the knee and relax the popliteal fascia. Then we place the fingertips of both hands in the popliteal fossa with thumbs resting on the patient's patella. The blood pressure in the lower limb is recorded from the popliteal artery. In coarctation of aorta, the popliteal pressure is lower than in the brachial pressure. Talking about the popliteal aneurysm. What is an aneurysm? Dilatation of the arterial wall is known as aneurysm. The popliteal artery is more prone to aneurysm than any other artery in the body. The popliteal aneurysm presents as a pulsatile midline swelling in the popliteal fossa. Then there is another swelling which we see in the popliteal fossa that is known as Baker's cyst. A Baker's cyst is a cystic swelling in the popliteal fossa due to inflammation of the synovial bursa underneath the tendon of semimembranosus. We have discussed this synovial bursa under the cover of semimembranosus in the last class. So if we have a swelling in the popliteal fossa, two differential diagnoses which can be made are a popliteal aneurysm, that is the dilatation of the popliteal artery, or Baker's cyst, which will be a cystic swelling, which will be because of the inflammation of the synovial bursa underneath the semimembranosus muscle. Okay. Then coming to another content which we have discussed, we know that the sciatic nerve ends as the tibial nerve and the common peroneal nerve in the popliteal at the superior angle of the popliteal fossa. So talking about the tibial nerve, the tibial nerve is the large terminal branch of the sciatic nerve. The root values are L4, L5, S1, S2, and S3. Now this nerve extends vertically downwards from the superior angle to the inferior angle of the popliteal fossa. As we have seen, it crosses the fossa, the popliteal artery, and the vein from the lateral to the medial side, and we have seen the different relations in the upper, the middle, and the lower part of the fossa. Coming to the branches. The branches of the tibial nerve can be divided into muscular branches, then some genicular branches, the cutaneous branches, and the vascular branches. Okay. Now, the muscular branches supply the muscles of the leg, which are the gastrocnemius. Both heads of gastrocnemius, we have the soleus, the plantaris, the popliteus. So ये चार muscles. एक triceps हमारे इसमें medial lateral head of gastrocnemius आएगा, soleus आएगा, popliteus, एक plantaris. ठीक है? Now, an important viva question which has to be remembered is this one, that the nerve to the popliteus winds around the lower border of the popliteus and supplies it from its deeper aspects. So you can see here, this is the nerve to the popliteus. It winds around the lower border of this popliteus muscle, and then it supplies the muscle from the lower side, यानी inferior side से ये popliteus को supply करती है. All the branches of the tibial nerve, as we can see, they arise from the lateral side, except the nerve to the medial head of the gastrocnemius, which arises from the medial side. Therefore, the lateral side of the tibial nerve is termed as the dangerous side, and the medial side is the safe side. Whereas in the sciatic nerve, you saw that the lateral side was the safer side. Okay? Now, another important viva question is that the nerve to the popliteus, this nerve that was crossing the popliteus and supplying it from its deeper aspect, in addition to this muscle, it also supplies some other structure. And what are these structures, which is asked in your viva? These structures are the popliteus muscle, the tibialis posterior muscle, the superior tibiofibular joint, the tibia, the inferior tibiofibular joint, and the interosseous membrane. So you can remember it like this, that इस muscle को supply करती है, इसके अलावा tibialis posterior को supply करती है, उसके अलावा किसको करती है? टीबिया को करती है, और टीबिया के तीनों joints को करती है, superior tibiofibular, interosseous membrane, and the inferior tibiofibular. Okay, so अभी तक के लिए we saw that tibial nerve was a large terminal branch of the sciatic nerve. It runs vertically downwards, crosses structures, that is the popliteal artery and the popliteal vein from the lateral to the medial side, and then it goes down. Its branches are divided into muscular branches, cutaneous branches, genicular branches, and vascular branches. The muscular branches, all the muscular branches arise from the lateral side except one branch that arises from the medial side. Therefore, the medial side is the safer side. What are the muscles that are supplied here? The muscles are medial and lateral head of gastrocnemius. We have the plantaris, we have the popliteus, and we have the soleus. The nerve to the popliteus is important because it winds around the popliteus and supplies it from its deeper aspect. And in addition to supplying the muscle, it also supplies the posterior tibialis posterior muscle, the tibia, the three joints, that is the superior, inferior tibiofibular joint, and the interosseous membrane. Now, talking about the genicular branches, as we have already seen, genicular means जो supply करेगा हमारे यहाँ joint को. So the genicular branches, we have three genicular branches here. You can see we have the superior medial genicular, this one. You have the middle genicular, this one, and we have the inferior medial genicular branch. The middle genicular nerve pierces the oblique popliteal ligament and supplies the interior of the joint. जैसे वहाँ पे middle genicular artery supply करेगी, pierce करेगी oblique popliteal ligament को. So there are two structures that pierce this oblique popliteal ligament. We have the middle genicular nerve and we have the middle genicular artery. Okay. Okay. Then we have the cutaneous nerve. The cutaneous nerve is the sural nerve. Then we have vascular branches, which gives vasomotor fibers to the popliteal vessel. This finishes your tibial nerve. That is a very important nerve, and it is important both for your viva as well as for your written exam. Okay. Okay. Then what will happen if tibial nerve is injured? There will be weakness of inversion and weakness of plantar flexion, which we'll be discussing later on. Now, coming to the common peroneal nerve. The common peroneal nerve, we know this is a small terminal branch of the sciatic nerve. It runs downwards through the popliteal fossa, closely following the medial border of the biceps muscle. Biceps muscle. It leaves the fossa by crossing superficially the lateral head of the gastrocnemius muscle. It then passes behind the head of the fibula, winds laterally around the neck of the bone, and pierces the peroneus longus muscle and divides into two terminal branches that are the superficial peroneal nerve and the deep peroneal nerve. As the nerve lies on the lateral aspect of the neck of the fibula, it is subcutaneous and can be easily rolled against the bone. This is clinically important. Sorry. So here you can see you can roll it against the head of the fibula. Coming to its branches, the branches are the cutaneous branches, we have genicular branches. The cutaneous branches are the sural communicating nerve. It arises opposite the head of the fibula and crosses superficially to the lateral head of the gastrocnemius to join the sural nerve. Then we have the lateral cutaneous nerve. It arises lower down and pierces the deep fascia to supply the skin on the upper part of the lateral side of the leg. Then we have some genicular branches. The genicular branches are the superior lateral genicular, the inferior lateral genicular, and the recurrent genicular nerve. The first two supply the knee joint, and the last one supplies the superior tibiofibular joint. We have to remember here that no muscular branches are given by this nerve in the popliteal fossa. So यहाँ पे सिर्फ दो ही तरह के branches हम पढ़ेंगे, एक cutaneous branches हमने देखी और हमने genicular branches देखी. Cutaneous में जो हमारी cutaneous nerve tibial nerve की है branch, that is the sural nerve, whereas cutaneous branch of the common peroneal is known as the sural communicating nerve, which ultimately joins the sural nerve, and we have lateral cutaneous nerve that is known as the lateral sural nerve as well. Genicular branches वहाँ पे जो हमने देखी, they were the medial genicular, that was the superior, inferior medial, and middle genicular, whereas on this side we'll see a superior lateral genicular, inferior lateral genicular, and a recurrent genicular. The upper two supply the knee joint, whereas the lower one, the recurrent genicular, will supply the superior tibiofibular joint. So you can see here the superior lateral genicular, the lateral cutaneous nerve of calf, that is the cutaneous branch, the inferior lateral genicular, and the sural communicating nerve. This is a diagram from the Jurassic. Now, what are the common injuries which we see in the common peroneal injury, or what happens if the common peroneal nerve is damaged? The common peroneal nerve is damaged if the fibula is broken. So you can see we'll have a foot drop, we'll have loss of cutaneous sensation, we'll have weakness of dorsiflexion and of ankle and eversion of foot, and ankle jerk is intact. Okay, so this is a small difference we see here. The tibial nerve, larger branch of the sciatic nerve, common peroneal, is a smaller branch. The tibial nerve enters the popliteal fossa at the upper angle. The common peroneal nerve at the superior angle of the popliteal, obviously dono, leaves at the lower angle. There's nothing to remember here. So this finishes your popliteal fossa. Thank